Demario is back. Boy, bye. Hey family, sorry that this is a little late. Remember when I told you about that wedding that I went to and I thought that I was losing my voice from partying hard? No, I was losing my voice because I was coming down with the flu. So today is my first day of like full strength, so I wanted to knock out as much reviews as I can before I lose energy again. Anyway, let's get into this review. So this episode picks up where the last episode left off, and that is Demario coming back, trying to make his way back into the mansion. And at first, like a lot of people, I was just like, Rachel, you better not let him back in this house. I was so nervous about it. But then when Demario started to like defend himself, and then he like started to bring up the Uber driver, he was so like not sincere. You know what I mean? Is the word unsincere? I'm on a lot of Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus. But anyway, like he was just, his apology was so self-serving and just, I didn't feel that any of it was real. This is so shady. I am a mess. I didn't think that he was sincere. I felt like he was so about self. And a lot of you have said in the comment section, because before I was talking about how he was like one of my top fives, and he was. But a lot of you said that at the before the rose ceremony or after the rose ceremony, when she was introduced to a few bachelorettes, that Demario was one of them, and you all were just like, he was gross then. I didn't see that. Like I just got into this show, so I didn't see that. So I had no idea that he was like a sleaze bag, but y'all read me like the book of Revelations. Y'all was just like, you like Demario? What? I didn't see that ceremony thing, so maybe if I would have saw it, I would have been like called his cards, or maybe I would have saw that he was a horrible guy. But Rachel didn't notice it. Anyway, Demario's like pleading his case, bringing up his Uber driver, and Rachel, I love her. She's sitting there, she's listening, she's like, okay, yeah. And she's trying to like get a word in, but he's not like letting her speak. And then finally she shuts him down. Rachel says to Demario, I'm glad that you gave me that quote about joy and pain. I hope that you find joy somewhere else, because it won't be in this house. Thank you. And sachets away. I was like, girl, yes! I was so happy for her because I was nervous. I thought that she was going to let him back in the house. But the fact that she read him with his own words, then sashayed away with her little faux fur cape, I was like, yes, sis, that's how you do it. That's our girl. That's our girl. So the tickle monster has to go. I don't know what it is about him that makes him so creepy. I feel like there's a number of things. One being the fact that he tickles people, men, women, children. Like, it's so awkward. Then he brings these huge hands to like talk to Rachel. I'm like, dude, you like, this is the thing, right? I'm not trying to be vulgar here, but it's not be real. You trying to get a woman wet. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna get us aroused with these oversized hands. And then I'm just like, did he bring these with him? Or is it like a prop room in the mansion? Because if Tickle Monster brought them hands with him on the plane, Rachel, girl, no, he gotta go. Alex, yes. Fine, right? But what you're not going to do is sit down with me on our 101 and figure out a Rubik's Cube. I was just like, what are you doing? This is your time with Rachel, and you brought a Rubik's Cube? This show was so weird. Oh, and by the way, there was somebody who mentioned in a comment section, and they were just like, could you put up the men that you're talking about? And I was just like, obviously, you've never edited on YouTube and had to upload an iMovie document, because let me tell you something, YouTube hates iMovie. It takes me forever to load and edit these videos because I use iMovie. And if I would have added anything else, like any other graphics or pictures that were not specifically from the YouTube editor, these videos would take days to get up, and I don't have the time. So y'all gonna have to deal with me and my little DIY project, because I'm creative like that. Get into this. Yes. You know what? We'll make a cute couple. Okay, hey. Since we're here, who is this? I tried to like figure out who this dude was, but I was just like, when I printed out the pictures, I was like, is he still in the house? Make an impression before you go home. Kenny Kenny and his daughter, I feel like his daughter and the women in his life are a crutch. You know what I mean? Every time he meets with Rachel, he brings up this kid. And I don't know if that will work for him because, again, Rachel never mentioned that she's ready to be a wife and a mom all at the same damn time to somebody else's child. You know what I mean? So, and it's nothing wrong with people who have kids, especially men who have kids and they go into a relationship. There are a lot of people who have blended families. I'm the product of a blended family. It worked for a minute. Sorry, Mom. What I'm saying is I think that he's relying on the fact that he's a father and he has a daughter that he loves way too much to impress Rachel, because at this point, I don't think it's work. If anything, it made me feel like she would have so much more work to do. And for a lot of people going into a new relationship, you just don't want to do the extra work because relationships on their own are a lot of work. Sorry. I didn't see any of Josiah this episode. I was a bit disappointed. I just don't remember seeing him or him. Is it the medication? So look who's becoming a front contender. Did y'all see this? Because I didn't. I had no idea. But when Rachel kissed him, I was just like, oh, this is real. That kiss was something else. He grabbed her and pulled her in. I felt that kiss and I was just like, who would have thought? I would have never thought that he was like a top contender. I don't remember seeing him in the previews on dates or anything like that. I didn't even remember what his voice sounded like. I was like, oh, that's what he sounds like. Oh, okay, he's still cute. But I would have never thought. But watching him this episode, I was just like, dude, I might have to change my fantasy league top 5. I still miss him. At first, I thought that Freaky Blake's obsession with Lucas was maybe him trying to really get out the dude who wasn't here for Rachel because he was really here for Rachel. But now it's gotten to a point where his obsession with Lucas is so alarming. I'm just like, dude, let it go. Aren't you supposed to be here for Rachel? Go after Rachel. He's putting so much energy into getting Lucas out of the house that he's put literally nothing into Rachel. I know there's a bunch of you who do not agree with me on this, but I just have to say it. Lucas is always drunk. He's always drunk. Even when he's given this story to Rachel about how Blake was standing over him with a banana, he was drunk. His words were slurring. Lucas in his introduction interview is totally different than Lucas after he's been in the house for a couple hours. He's always drunk. There's something up with this dude. It's the waboom. Maybe he's not drunk. Maybe it's the fact that he's waboom so much he's like in a constant concussion. He gotta stop it, guys. He gotta stop. That's not true because I don't eat carbs. And I'm like, if this girl don't cut this fool, I would never eat a banana because I'm on a ketosis diet. So I don't eat carbs, so that's not true. Like, that's your defense? A ketosis diet? What is up with casting? Where did they get these men from? I cannot. Again, who is this guy? So Brian gets picked first. And I'm telling you, it's the swag. It gets us every time. And I'm just like, Rachel, stay woke and stay focused. And I rebuke that lie that Rachel picked him. A lot of you guys have been writing on my other reviews that Nikki, oh my goodness, she picked Brian. I rebuke it in the mighty and the matchless name of Jesus. Rachel picks Peter. Do not put that curse on my YouTube videos. I will not receive it. Peter is engaged to our girl, Rachel. That's it. I'm not believing any other reality. I don't have a graphic for Bryce. I thought he got sent home. When Rachel selected him for a date, I was like, oh my gosh, Bryce is still here. It's too many men on this freaking show, and they all look alike. Anyway, so Rachel picks Bryce, and I'm telling you, I think there's something about him, right? He has beautiful eyelashes. He's attractive, right? But when he opens up his mouth and he does you know what, you guys love me and I know you won't judge me, so I'm just going to say it. He is very cute, but then he opens up his mouth and he gives me Fire Marshal Bill. I'm just like, what is up with the smile? It's like his lips curl into his smile and he loses his lips and it's just all teeth and gum. Why is Ted Bundy still here? Like, what is going on with Rachel? Oh my gosh. I forgot the name of the person who wrote it, but somebody in my comment section said that this dude, Ted Bundy, I forget his name, looks like what Brian looked like before before he got work done. Let me tell you something. Y'all are so shady in the comment sections, and I live for it. Oh, gosh. Kenny is so corny. The show is so corny, but, you know, I love it. But, like, when Rachel picks Kenny, he's like, how can he say no? What? So Lee gets a rose. Okay, appropriate. I honestly think that a lot of people are being hard on Rachel for this, and I think that a lot of people do not realize that Lee was picked before his tweets or whatever was released. And I think I'll get into it later in this review, or maybe in another review, probably for next week's episode, because I feel like that's when he's going to show his true colors. Let's go easy on our girl Rachel. She didn't know. Casting didn't know. Which actually is casting's fault, because I don't know what kind of contract they signed, but I've worked with ABC before, and let me tell you something. That contract ain't no joke. So I don't know how his like social media was not scanned properly, and how, you know, because when they do scan your social media, they look for offensive things. They look for suggestive photos and things like that. I don't know how that got through their background search, because their background search is ridiculous. Like, you feel like you're submitting your information to the FBI. They go through everything. So the fact that they skipped that, I feel like that's a casting error, and probably somebody got in a whole lot of trouble for that, because that was huge. Like, those tweets were alarming, but sad to say, not shocking. You know, like, let's be real here. Lucas and Blake and some dude that I don't remember, too many men in this house, get cut. And Freaky Blake is insulted. Like, he's hurt, you know what I mean, that he got cut. And I'm like, are you serious? You spent your entire time on Lucas. You didn't spend any of it on Rachel. Why would she keep you? Like, I didn't understand why he was upset by that. And then he tries to like blame Lucas, and drunk Lucas is outside like giving his, I guess, exit confessional or whatever, and then like Blake is being really, you know, solemn, and I can't believe that I let Lucas get me out of the house. Lucas didn't do anything. You got yourself out of the house. And then he walks over to him, he's just hand on his shoulder, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, Blake is a really nice guy. Who would have known that he would have taken the high road with this situation with Lucas, since he was so petty the entire time that he was on this show? He pats Lucas on the shoulder, and he looks at him, he's just like, you're a horrible guy. He just starts reading Lucas, but I feel like Lucas would have had a better reaction if he was not lit. And so Lucas is standing there, and he's looking at him, and Blake is just saying all these terrible things about him, about how he's not really a comedian, and then he just goes ballistic, and they do this whole and I'm just like, what the hell? Oh, Rachel, you did such a good job cutting these fools. It was so embarrassing to see adult men just go at it like that for absolutely no reason whatsoever. None of it was about Rachel, which is why I'm glad she cut them, because they weren't there for her at all. I don't know. It seemed like Blake was there for Lucas, and Lucas was there to waboom. And baby, you better let that go, because I don't see that going anywhere unless the Shan Wild guy dies. And, you know, word on the street is he is hitting that cocaine hard. So there might be an opening. Stay woke. Stay woke. So Rachel picks a select group of men to go with her on the Ellen show. And a lot of the guys are really excited, especially Will. He's a huge Ellen fan, apparently. Just by his reaction alone, he was so tickled by this group. He called his name, and he was like, I was just like, what the Uncle Phil is going on? I guess maybe because she kisses him that we're starting to like focus on him a bit more. Maybe this is how he always is, but I was just like, what the hell was up with that laugh? And listen, Alex is my baby, but those like line cook pants that he had on, I was just like, honey, you look like you're about to make me a burger at Ruby Tuesdays, not go on Ellen. What was he wearing? This group date, Peter solidified for me why he's my top pick. And sorry, Josiah, I didn't see you at all in this episode. It was so weird. I just don't remember Josiah. That's a bad thing. But anyway, he was just such a gentleman throughout this entire group date. Brian was very full of himself, just very, very cocky. And I get that that's attractive to Rachel, but at some point you just don't look for that kind of, that self-preserved cockiness in a mate, because there's this comment that Ellen made, and she's just like, she wants to know if anybody's kissed Rachel, and a few of the guys admitted. And then Brian looks at Peter, because Peter also admits that he kissed Rachel, but he was very shy and coy about it. And I guess maybe Brian felt a little bit of machismo or jealousy, whatever it was. He takes Ellen's mic and he's just like, he got my sloppy seconds. How the hell you talk about somebody that you want to marry like that on national TV? And Ellen didn't like it, and I didn't like it, because Ellen's face, like even just how she was reacting with Brian, because the entire time he keeps on taking her mic. Major turn off about Brian, and the reason why I got my eye on him for a different reason now is because he loves the cameras. Like, he lit up. He was so excited to be on the Ellen show, and not like Will as a fan, but he was just excited because he was going to get this attention. He was very like, he was to the point where he was too comfortable, and I feel like Rachel needs to watch that, because she kissed him first, and because she does the most with him physically, she doesn't really check him. And I get it, she probably likes him or whatever, but it's just like, girl, you have to check him, and you have to let him know this competition is not in the bag, because he is moving like he won this thing. His cockiness is coming out, and I feel like a lot of the things that he is doing is to further Brian and not really further a relationship with Rachel. And I don't want her to get used, but I feel like Brian is doing that. Ellen has the men take off their shirts and start like strip teasing and doing like this whole like Magic Mike performance for her audience. And can I tell you, there are a lot of guys who just like surprised me. Will and Alex, like, I just could not believe Alex could not hear the beat at all, but baby, he was twerking and shaking his behind in people's face. This one elderly lady, he was just grinding all over her. She was so like uncomfortable, but I feel like deep inside she was really happy about it, because she was like, and I was just like, stop it, mother. You know you want that. Hell, I want that, okay? Will too, like Will was all over everybody, and of course Tickle Monster was just awkward and odd. And honestly, I did not hate him in this scene. I don't think I hate him at all. I just don't think that he's a good fit for Rachel, but he really grew on me in this whole like striptease scene, because he was so timid and just awkward, and that's just who he is, right? And I felt like just looking at him like awkwardly grind on women, I was just like, you know what, this is who he is, and this works for a certain kind of woman. There is a woman who loves that adorable dorky guy who loves just stanky draws. That's what my grandmother says. I hate that comment, but she's just like, you want to get a man that loves your funky draws, and I'm like, no, I don't. Then Rachel has one-on-one dates with the guys that she took to the Ellen show, and this to me was the first time that Alex showed up as like a contender. You know what I mean? Because I felt like he was really there for Rachel. I felt like Rachel was like really into him. They had a really nice conversation, and he was talking about like her eyes, and she's looking at him with the left. Alex is really smart. If you guys know what he does, please write in the comment section below. Like, I don't know what he does, but he seems to be very, very smart, and not there for the cameras. He's a handsome guy. I don't think like he wants to use this to like further his career, because I feel like his career is maybe in science. I think that's what it is. But just like Tickle Monster, I think that they are actually there for Rachel. Tickle Monster is just awkward, but I don't think that he's there for the cameras, and I don't think that Alex is there for the cameras. And I think that this was probably the first time that Rachel really saw him as like, you know, somebody she could be with. I don't know why she never saw him in the first place, because he is gorgeous, okay? Hey, daddy, stop. However, the top contenders still remain, because baby, when she kissed Brian and Peter, it was a whole different ball game. First of all, she kisses Brian, she wrapped her whole body was into Brian, legs up and everything. And I was just like, you know what? No tea, no shade, woman to woman. I feel like Rachel want to marry Peter, but she want to bang Brian. It's something about Brian where she is just like, just one night, you know what I mean? Like one night in your chiropractor office. Let me know what you can do with them hands, daddy. I feel like that's what it is, because their meetings are always very sexual. And then she meets with my baby Peter, and their kiss was so different. She like hugged him and kissed him, and it was just so sweet and so warm. And then she whispers in his ear that she doesn't want to get up, and I'm like, girl, this is your husband. So now let's get into the saddest part of the night for me. This was the one time throughout my entire time of watching this show that I didn't like Rachel for a bit. I didn't like this whole scene because first of all, I feel like, and so does Fred, I feel like she is being way too hard on Fred for whatever he did when he was like 9. You know what I mean? And then this is the thing with Rachel that bothered me. Two things. One is that she kept on acting like the age was like a big deal. When I'm just like, every time you get a chance, you over there grinding and sucking face with Dean, who's 25, but Fred is a boy. That's what bothers me. And then she keeps on bringing up stuff that he did when he was 9. Rachel, please let us know what he did. I mean, you guys are so good with the tea and the information on the show, so please, can y'all just look up his juvie records? Like, did he shank a counselor? Did he kill animals or something at the camp? Was he like skinning raccoons and hanging them outside the camp counselor's office? I don't know what Fred did, but whatever he did as a kid, it turned off Rachel as a woman in her 30s. As a viewer, I'm frustrated because I'm like, girl, tell us what he did. You're just saying that he was bad around white people. I mean, was he using racial slurs towards white people? Like, what was he doing? I can understand why she just doesn't like him. First of all, he's gorgeous. Chocolate Donnie Simpson. How are you doing? I just didn't understand why she got rid of him. The way she did it bothered me. Like, if you're not feeling somebody, you're not feeling somebody. I totally understand. But she has this one-on-one with him, and I get it. Fred was awkward, where he, like, announced that he wanted to kiss her. And for Rachel, it was awkward, right? I didn't feel that it would. Maybe for me, like, it would not have been awkward because we live in an age now where we're having to teach consent. So maybe that was his thing, where he was like trying to be like a gentleman, and maybe because he knew that he had a relationship with her from the past, he didn't want to like just dive in for the kiss. So I don't have a problem with a guy asking me like if he wants to kiss me. I'm pretty turned on by that. I mean, not now, but you know what I mean? Like, if a guy's just like, I want to kiss, like, a guy has said that to me before, and I was just like, oh, yes, you know what I mean? So it didn't bother me, but it bothered Rachel. I think it bothered Rachel because she does not want to be with Fred. Like, she's not attracted to him. She doesn't want him to be on the show for whatever reason. But anyway, after they had their one-on-one, Fred was so excited because he finally kissed Rachel. It was awkward, but then it got to a point where it was passionate for me, and maybe it's because I just think he's fine. I love the kiss, but Rachel apparently didn't love it. But the thing that hurt me the most was that he was so excited. He was like cheering that he finally got a kiss with her. And then she comes back to where all the guys are hanging out, and she says, Fred, can you come with me? And she takes the rose. She takes the rose. So Fred and everybody else is thinking that she's about to give him the rose. She takes him outside, and she's just like, you know, I just don't feel a connection here. So I don't want to keep you here and lead you on. So I'm just going to send you home tonight. Girl, what? Like, I just felt like for him to be somebody that she's known since she was 12, he deserved a better send-off. You know what I mean? To take the rose, to play with his head, to make him think that he was getting a rose, and then to send him home still on the date in front of all the men. I don't know. I just felt like, especially with the relationship that they had, it could have been a better way for her to do it. But for whatever reason, something that he did when he was 9 years old, a 4th grader, she has a problem with it, and it just really bothers her. And then her excuse is that when he kissed her, she felt like she was kissing a boy. Not Dean. You just want to bang Dean. See, that's what it is. Rachel, girl, you got to think with your heart and not your coochie. I understand, especially around that time of the month, you get confused. Things start, you be making terrible decisions. So maybe it's a time of the month, because I understand. I have been in full-blown relationships because of my cycle, and as soon as those 7 days are over, I'm just like, what am I doing here? So I understand, girl. Maybe that's what's going on, but I just feel like she is not making the best decisions for what she says she came on this show for. She said she was looking for a husband, and she wanted to have kids. You're picking Brian the player. You're sucking face with Dean, who's never been with a black woman and who's 25 years old. Really? Really? Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Now, I need for somebody to explain to me this, because I am so confused, and I felt like I watched this on my DVR, so maybe they cut off a part of the episode, but how in the hell did That's So Raven's dad get a one-on-one with Rachel? How did this happen? Because they come back from commercial, and he's like sitting there waiting to go on a one-on-one with her, and I'm just like, how the hell are you not feeling Fred, but you're feeling Anthony. 26-year-old Anthony. Oh, he has an old soul. He got an old soul. He has a huge head. Do you know that that might come out of your vagina? Like, have you not thought about these things? Because Rachel is a Southern girl, she takes Anthony on this one-on-one date where they go to like horseback riding down Rodeo Drive. And let me tell you something. I live here, right? I did not know that you could take a horse down Rodeo Drive and just go into like different shops. First of all, Gucci would never. If you notice the stores that they were going into, I was like, ain't no way they going into Gucci. Ain't no way. I want to see it. It didn't happen. I don't really think that this is something that you can do. I feel like this was something that ABC was able to like hack along, you know, and maybe bring press to some stores that are struggling on Rodeo Drive, because that rent is expensive. And if you're not making the money to stay there, you got to go. That maybe the stores that Rachel and Anthony were able to go into were maybe stores that were struggling and probably needed the press. I can't imagine Louis Vuitton letting them, like, you know, gallop in there on a horse. I don't know how Rachel felt a connection on this dry date. And then I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Because why is Anthony getting all this camera time? He gets like a full date, morning and evening, like he's on Peter's level. And I'm just like, wait a minute. When did Anthony have this connection with Rachel? Same damn person. Like, really, come on. You see it. My boy Eric is really obsessed with getting a kiss from Rachel, and he's talking about that he has this connection with her, and then he gets like really sinister, in my opinion. Because what I didn't like was that he was talking to the other guys about, you know, lamenting and just being really frustrated about not getting a kiss from her. And I guess it's like a huge deal, because I guess that means that you guys are having some kind of connection, and there's not a lot of time here. Understandable. But then he gets upset at Rachel. He's just like, she's playing games, and he just starts talking about her in a very negative, you know, one of those pickup artist kind of blog guys, you know what I mean? Where they blame the woman for not giving them the affection that they desire, when it's just like, you should be old enough to realize it don't work like that. What are you doing to bring her, to make her attracted to you, to make her want to kiss you? Like, you got a kiss before, so I don't understand why you're being really obsessive now about not getting a kiss, and then to turn around and be angry at her for not kissing you. That was a huge red flag for me when I saw his temperament and his behavior. Not to the point where like Lee was making it, but as a woman, I was just like, you're not ready for a relationship at all. Has to stop with this girl squad, because I've seen them twice now, and it's episode 3. It is episode 3, or is it 4? It's episode 3, and I've seen these girls twice now. It's also one girl, I forget her name, but let me tell you something, Rachel, stay woke, because every time she shows up, and let me tell you something, if you're my girlfriend and I'm doing something on TV, I want you to come dressed to the nines. I want you to come beat, honey. I want you to come laid. I want you to be in full drag regalia, work. I want you to stand on camera, because you are my girl. Like, I want my girls to win, right? I want my girl squad to look fly. But what you're not gonna do is come around men that I'm thinking about, you know, getting in a relationship with, and marrying, having kids with, and every time I see you, you got your back out, your ussy out, you know, thighs out, legs out. It's one girl in particular, and every time she shows up with the girl squad, she is hella sexy. Now, maybe she's auditioning to be the next Bachelorette, but I'm just like, what you won't do is show up to meet my men's with your nipples all hard, your back out, you bending over, flinging the hair. And no, honey, you put on a sundress just like Rachel, okay? You put on some gauchos like Rachel. If Rachel is serving free people realness, you need to be serving Charlotte Russe realness. This is her show, sweetie. You will not. You will not. I'm gonna mind my business, but did you see Bryce on that pole? Listen. Mother got low, came back up, switched it around, and got back down again. I was like, what the hell are y'all doing at the fire department? Okay. So Rachel takes the next batch of guys on a group date, and I'm cracking up because I just saw this freaking dummy at the mud wrestling match. So this, I can't. Why does this dummy do this to me? dates are going to like this mud wrestling thing at some saloon in LA, and they're going to like mud wrestle, and whoever wins gets like the one-on-one date. And right off the bat, Bryce, who's huge, right? That's what I liked about him. I liked the fact that he's so big and just tall and fit, but the fire marshal Bill. Anyway, he's just like, I have a bunch of brothers. I'm the most athletic dude in the house. And you know what? He's right, because firefighters are really athletic guys. Have you seen how they train? They are really athletic men, and he did not disappoint, because he was flipping them dudes over. Like, he was left to right. He was just flipping them over. And then it gets down to him and Kenny, because Brady was not messing up that hair. First of all, they had a little clip of Brady, and he was having a little temper tantrum because he did not want to get mud in his hair. And let me tell you something, when Brady got into that mud all dainty, I was like, Brady is going to lose, because Brady does not want to mess up this hair. And I'm telling you, everybody had mud everywhere. Brady's mud stopped right here, because Brady was just like, I'm gonna lose. Everybody was flipping Brady. Gets down to Bryce and Kenny was doing very, very well, which I'm not surprised by, because he's a wrestler. But I guess he doesn't have the stamina that Bryce has, because Bryce just got him. I think that Bryce didn't have better moves, but Bryce just had the stamina, and Kenny just tired out and lost. And I'm just like, Kenny, this was the competition for you to win. Like, this was the challenge for you to win, and for you to be a wrestler and you lose in front of a woman that you're trying to woo in your profession. Ooh, brother, your daughter can't save you from this. And can I just say, the extras were working mad hard at this mud wrestling thing, because it was like 2 women who were like, woo, let me see your junk. Woo! I want to see your butt. And I'm like, ladies, y'all working really hard for this $40 flat rate extra fee. Calm down. You'll get your camera time. And child, did you see? You know what? I don't know what it is about Bryce. Like, he's attractive at some points, and then other points I'm just like, this is odd. But when he was standing there giving his little confessional about him winning a competition, I was just like, ugh. Yes. But you know what? Maybe it's the firefighter thing. I felt like if Bryce didn't have this firefighter thing, if he wasn't a firefighter, I don't know if I would feel like so like towards him, you know what I mean? And then maybe it's because I used to live in New York, and so I'm like obsessed with fire, like obsessed. Okay, I was that girl that got the calendar. Yes, I did. But because let me tell you something, New York firefighters are fine. It is not a gimmick. It is not a game. You could go to any firehouse, unless they volunteer firefighters. The volunteer ones never quite cut it. But the ones that are on the clock, the ones that are getting the benefits, they are all fine. Even the old ones, they are beautiful. I'm telling you, New York firefighters are so fine that I have contemplated burning down my own house so that Anthony from Queens can come and save me from my own disaster. Yes. Who here is surprised that Kenny used to be a stripper? I mean, he licks his lips all the time. He's always trying to like grind on Rachel. It doesn't work. Like, nobody's surprised. It's just like, I'm gonna tell you a little secret. I used to be a stripper in Vegas. We get it, Kenny, and you love your daughter. I have to stop being so hard on him. He's just not for Rachel, guys. He's not. I agree with Eric. I don't know why Lee keeps on telling him that he loves him. This whole scene was so creepy. Lee is just like, you're not right for her, but I love you. You're aggressive, but I love you. What is wrong? It was just a very awkward and creepy scene. And then Lee in his confessional is just like, oh, this kid. Let me tell you something, people who turn 30. I swear, as soon as a person turns 30, everybody 29 and under is a kid. Y'all swear that this 30 makes you like so wise, and you have all of this, life experience and wisdom, and those 27-year-olds know nothing. You're 30. Calm down. The rest of the episode is just a bunch of, the guys going after Eric and not thinking that he's appropriate for Rachel. And I get it. I totally understand. But just with Blake and Lucas, I'm bothered by the fact that these men are so obsessed with other men and they're not obsessed with Rachel. Iggy needs to focus on getting with Rachel and having a one-on-one that means something, instead of being so obsessed by Eric and his immaturity. Yes, he's immature. He's also my neighbor. I saw him in the market, and I felt like he wanted me to fan out, but I was just like, excuse me, and I just got my tomatoes and I kept on moving. But I felt like he wanted to be like, yeah, I'm on The Bachelor. I'm just like, boy, bye. But I feel like the men are just really obsessed about each other, and it's not about Rachel. Iggy needs to focus on getting a one-on-one with Rachel. Eric needs to calm the hell down before he gets cut. Him and his scarf get sent home. Like, he really needs to chill out. Lee ain't there for Rachel. He's just there to stir up drama. Like, it's at this point, you know, you can pretty much see who's there for Rachel and who's like producers picked and who are just like stirring the pot and getting things going. And I honestly was going to talk about Lee in his tweets, but it seems like next week is going to be the race episode. And I just want to keep this show really, really light. I want to go into it that much on this review. I'll talk about it in the next review because, like I said before, I think with Lee labeling black men aggressive, I think it's going to probably be like a race episode and Rachel's going to be crying. And that's where a lot of that is going to happen. And so I'll address the majority of it there. A lot of you watch this show to escape. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much darkness going on in the world that it is just nice to all come together through this internet or YouTube or whatever and just have a kiki and a laugh and just exchange information about a show that we love. So I keep it very lighthearted. But because this is the first Black Bachelorette, and because of the race relations that we have in America, and because of there are a lot of white men on the show, and we have a black woman, and there are so many layers happening there, this stuff is going to come up. And I'll address it when I have to. But because of the issues with Lee and because of next week's episode, I'm really going to have to talk about it. But what I do want to say is that oh gosh, I feel like I'm about to cry. I do really just appreciate everybody who comes here. Like, you know, the comment section is just a mixture of people, and you guys are so great, and you've kept it so lighthearted and fun, and I just really enjoy your comments and your information and just even checking in on me and, you know, like, where's the next review? I just love it. I really started to review this show because I didn't know anybody who was going to watch it, and I wanted to create like a kind of community, which I did with my other reviews. That's why I started this channel. It's because a lot of people didn't watch the shows, and my community didn't watch the shows that I watch. So I just wanted to find a community that enjoyed the same things that I do, and you guys are it, and I'm just really, really thankful. Every now and then I get a little racist comment, but it's not the majority, and I'm really, really thankful about that. And I just wanted to just say that I love you guys, and I appreciate you stopping by, you subscribing, you commenting. It's been fun. I've really, really enjoyed it. I feel like I have like friendships with some people, and you know, we've never met. A good time here. And next week, I hope we can keep it as lighthearted, but it seems like it's going to be a little deep. So I'll speak on it as I have to, but I'm not going to get into race on this show. Not what it's about. This woman is trying to find love. Love sees no color. Love is love, and we are going to support our sister Rachel as she's on the quest. Our girl Rachel as she's on the quest for love. So thank you for stopping by, and if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you next week for the following episode of The Bachelorette. Bye, family. Love you. Seriously. Thank you. Brady and that booger rubbing comment. Like, you sent Fred home and kept booger rubbing Brady here? Rachel. Girl.